You have the coolest microphone thing. It looks like a tie clasp.
Yeah, isn't that really, that's like top level.
I was thinking, like, that looks pretty sharp.
What do you guys wear? Is that what you do on CNN?
Yeah, just this.
It's like that, yeah. No,
yours looks cool like it's intended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you have your own show, too. You've got to get one of these.
I don't have as much pull, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, the problem is you have a show on a network that has like too many hosts. So they'd be like, you get one, then Cuomo's going to want one, Anderson's going to want one.
Exactly.
You can't do that. Whereas me, it's just
not
like...
just one tie clip.
I guarantee you, if I've got it, that means Fallon had it first.
It does actually have his initials.
It does, yeah. JF, do not touch. Oh, no. You hosted the debates.
I did.
And that is a lot. Not only was it back-to-back nights, but 10 candidates both nights. How do you approach it with that many people?
Well, first of all, we should just make sure everybody understands. If it were up to me, I would have like 5 candidates.
Yeah.
Like if it was, but it was the Democratic National Committee. They made the decision.
Right, not CNN's choice.
And they said that, this is what you have to achieve in order to get on the debate stage. And it turns out it was very achievable.
Yeah.
So they had 20 candidates. Thank God we were allowed to split it into 2 nights. And it's tough because you're all these competing imperatives. You want to make sure that you get to the big people, the bigger candidates, but you also want to include everybody. You want to bring out debate. You want to get to as many topics as you can, but you don't want to be too shallow. I mean, it's a lot of moving parts.
It did seem that you guys got credit for hitting on a lot of substantive issues. Obviously, there are a limit of time and the fact that 10 people are talking. And I think when we remember the last debate that had that many candidates was the GOP debates, 4 years ago. You did those as well.
Yeah, I did one with 11 candidates.
11 candidites at once.
Because Carly Fiorina got in there.
She slid in at the last minute.
Yeah.
And thank God she did, because then she was president. But those I think are not remembered as being as substantive, but you would argue that they were, we just forget because of Trump.
Because of who was in the middle of the stage.
Yeah,
I think we asked a lot of substantive questions, but I think one of the problems with a debate anytime that President Trump, then candidate Trump, is there is you might not remember the discussion about the nuclear triad, for example, which was brought up, and you might remember when he made fun of Rand Paul's hair.
Yeah.
Right, like one of them might stick in your brain a little bit more.
Yeah. Do you think that'll ultimately be the challenge for whoever ends up against him moving forward, is that as voters, we will also be distracted by his ability to make fun of sort of trivial things?
I don't know. I mean, that's going to be the big challenge for whoever the Democratic nominee is. What's the way to go after him? Because, I mean, you could argue that Hillary Clinton won all 3 debates.
Yeah, I think by a clear margin.
Polls indicated that the American people thought she did.
Yeah.
And then, yet, she's obviously not in the White House right now.
Yeah, because they were like, that other guy's a little crazy, though. I kind of like that. Let's see what that looks like in the White House. Let's try the crazy guy. It's only for a week, right? 4 years.
It was a little bit more complicated than that, but okay, we'll go with that.
I think most voters, trust me. I've been in the diners. That's what they did. I've talked to people in diners. So you...
Or the Russians and Comey and Wisconsin. There's a lot of things. A lot of factors.
You've had this issue because you have to deal with it certainly in a more serious way than we do. There have been things this week that are hard, to lay out exactly what happened. Steve King, who's an Iowa congressman, he basically made comments defending rape and incest, which you would think would be a real career ender. But not as yet. How do you even, when you hear that, how do you even go about presenting that to people as here's a real thing that happened?
Well, I mean, we just ran the clip, and just for those of you who are not familiar with Congressman King's oeuvre, he says a lot of just really insane and offensive things.
Yeah, the craziest thing is it wasn't out of left field for him.
Yeah. The good news was it wasn't racist.
Yeah, that's why he tried a new thing. That's like, be careful what you wish for. It's like, good news, he's not racist anymore.
Well, wasn't that just if in those comments he was, I'm going to try a little misogyny. Let's just see how that goes.
Yeah.
Try it on for size. Yeah, the basic argument he was making, he was trying to explain, he was trying to defend his argument as to why he does not support, he's opposed to abortion, and he does not even believe in exemptions for rape and incest. And his argument was, if you go back in history, a lot of people got raped and a lot of people had incest, and I don't know that my family tree doesn't have any of that.
Yeah.
And
I'd argue it probably does, yeah.
It would explain a lot.
Yeah.
But anyway, so in that instance, we just ran the clip, and then I just turned to a guy on the panel, poor Mike Rogers, former Republican congressman, and just said, "Why does he say things like that?"
Yeah.
He didn't have an answer.